Hello students, so today we'll continue with our standard 6th lesson number 5, substances in our surrounding and its state and properties. So we'll begin with the later half of the lesson. Now there is an experiment to do. You have to take some sand in a crucible, put a few iodine crystal in it, place the crucible on a tripod to heat it, block the stem of the funnel with a cotton plug and place it inverted over the crucible. Light the burner and heat the mixture in the crucible. Observe the changes. You have to make it in just like how it is shown in the diagram. Okay, now what happens when iodine crystals do not melt on heating but they change directly into gaseous state? When the fumes of iodine hit the walls of the funnel, they cool to form solid crystals of iodine and stick to the funnel walls. Thus, on heating, iodine does not melt and change to a liquid, but directly changes to a gaseous state. The change of a solid substance directly into a gas or vapor without first changing into a liquid is called sublimation. Understood? Now students, next is, how will you identify the following? A glass, if it is made up of plastic, steel or glass. A rod, is it made up of iron or aluminium? A door, is it of wooden or glass? A white powder, salt or chalk powder? How you will know? So to answer these questions, you consider their properties. Example, their transparency, hardness, weight, color, the sound which it is producing, solubility in water. These everything is been identified and studied so that we come to know about its properties and we can identify whether it is which substance we are following. Now moving to our next page, we will begin with the properties of substances. Okay, so there are various properties as we know. So if we take, what will happen if pressure is applied on a substance like chalk, brick, alum, glass or Rajgira Wadi? What will happen? These substance will break into small pieces or particles. Such substances are said to be brittle. This property of substance is called as brittleness. Second, if you have to put some hard pressure to break something, whether you need a hammer, whether you need like something like knife or external force, such to break a substance, such property is called as hardness. Okay, now you have to take a rubber band. Now what will happen if you stretch this rubber band? It will change its shape, but when you will release it, it will come back to its original position. This property basically is called as elasticity. Okay, if any substance changes and comes back to its original position, it is called as elasticity. Now same as liquids like water, juice, anything. Now such liquids, when it falls down on a surface or something, what happens? It starts flowing, correct? So this property is called as fluidity. If you take a iron piece and a wooden piece of same size and weight it, you will see there will be some difference. Why? Because its mass is same but its densities are different. So the property like density is also being considered. Now moving to our next page. So the other properties are like solubility. Now what is solubility? Basically, when you take a glass and you fill it with water and you put some salt in it. Now water is another substance, salt is another substance. Now what will happen? Salt will get dissolved in water. So when one substance get dissolved in another substance, it is called, this property is called as solubility. Okay. Now when we can look through a substance and see things on the other side, this substance is said to be transparent, and this property is called as transparency. Glass and some types of plastic, clean water, air are all transparent substances. Understood? Now metals, substances like copper, gold, iron, aluminium are all metals, we know, correct? Metals are found in the form of minerals deep inside the earth. Minerals from the earth's crust are processed to obtain the metal. In daily life, metals have various important uses. Now we'll know what properties these metals have. Okay, so the very first property is malleability. Now while you are hammering a metal, it cuts down into small sheets or thin sheets. These sheets can later be converted into something else. Okay, this property of metal is called as malleability. Now moving to the next page, we have ductility. Now when a hot iron is hammered and made into thin sheets, the blacksmith, you know what is a blacksmith, right? Blacksmith is the one who makes many instruments out of metals. Visit a blacksmith's shop. Now you will observe that he will hammer, and the hammering will cause into a stretchable metal. This stretchable metal can later be converted into wires. This property of metal is called as ductility. Metals like silver, gold, copper, platinum can be drawn into fine wires. Okay. Now electricity flows through metals. All metals are conductors of electricity to a greater or lesser extent, right? This property is called electrical conductivity. Now, even when a piece of a metal is heated at one place, the whole of it becomes hot. You know, if your mom is cooking something and you touch the utensil, the whole utensil is hot. But the flames of fire are only on the below part, but on the top also it is hot, because the heat flows throughout them. This property is called as thermal conductivity. Now metals have a typical shine, or you can call it luster. Every metal has a characteristic color by which it can be identified. You have seen a steel utensil, it is very shiny, but aluminium utensil, it is little bit whitish in color. Same way copper utensil, it is little bit brownish in color. Okay. Now the last property is sonority. Metals produce a ringing sound, from which we come to know that whether the particular substance is made up of a metal or plastic, wood or another things. So students, here we finished with this lesson. I hope you understood the changes in the state and properties of the substance. Now we'll meet in our next session. Thank you.